still sleeping like this? Who is going to do all the work in this house? Get up right now and start working. Hurry up and finish your work and come here and massage my feet. So this is what you do all day? Just sit here and eat while the work is waiting?
She threw a plate of food onto the floor right in front of her. You wanted food, didn't you? Well then, pick it up from the ground and eat it. Little Zainab bent down and started picking up the bread with trembling hands. But tears kept falling onto the bread non-stop. At that very moment, Rukhsana said with hatred in her voice, "I wish you had died along with your mother." The words hit Zainab like a stone. For the first time, she looked directly at her stepmother and quietly asked, "Am I really that bad?" Rukhsana didn't answer. She simply walked out and slammed the door shut behind her. That night,
I miss you so much.
Zainab silently held a picture of her late mother against her chest and cried herself to sleep. But the very next morning, before sunrise, Rukhsana yanked her awake.
Why are you still sleeping like this? Who is going to do all the work in this house? Get up right now and start working.
Get up. You're not here to eat free bread. 8-year-old Zainab jolted awake in fear. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her body ached with fever. But Rukhsana didn't care. From that day on, Zainab's life became a living nightmare. Waking up before dawn to clean the entire house, carrying heavy buckets of water, washing clothes, scrubbing dishes. And this was only the beginning of every single day. And if she made even the smallest mistake, Rukhsana would punish her. Sometimes with a broomstick, sometimes by burning her hands with hot kitchen tongs.
Little Zainab would scream in pain, but there was no one in the house to hear her. The silence grows heavier. Her father was a truck driver and would stay away from home for months at a time. Whenever he was around, Rukhsana treated Zainab kindly. She gave her good food, spoke to her with affection. But the moment he left, the cruelty began all over again. One day, Zainab became extremely weak. While carrying a heavy bucket of water up the stairs, she lost her balance and fell. The bucket crashed down on top of her. Blood began running down her forehead. Crying in pain, she whispered,
It hurts so much. Please help me. I fell down.
But Rukhsana said angrily, "Stop acting! Get up and clean the floor." Zainab kept wiping away the blood with trembling hands, and her tears continued falling onto the ground. That night, she was starving. Quietly, she walked into the kitchen and reached for a leftover piece of dry bread. But Rukhsana saw her. In a burst of anger, she grabbed Zainab by the arm and shoved her hard against the wall. "Now you're stealing too? I only took one piece of bread. Shut up!" Rukhsana covered her mouth. Then, in a cold voice, she said, "You won't be staying here much longer anyway." Zainab stared at her in fear. A few days later, a 35-year-old man started visiting the house. His name was Jabbar. His eyes were always red from drinking, and the smell of alcohol followed him everywhere. Whenever he came over, Rukhsana would force Zainab to get dressed and stand in front of him. "Come here and say hello." Zainab would begin trembling with fear. Jabbar would stare at her with a strange smile and laugh to himself. That look was the beginning of something dangerous. One night, Zainab overheard Rukhsana talking on the phone. "I want the money in my hands by tomorrow, and I'll hand the girl over to you." Zainab's heart started
What was
pounding.
that?
For the first time, she realized the truth. Rukhsana was planning to sell her. The next night, Ruxana dressed Zainab in an old outfit. Crying, Zainab fell at her feet and begged, "Mom, please, don't send me away. I'll work harder. I'll never make another mistake." But Ruxana kicked her away. "The only thing I ever wanted from you was money." At that moment, Jabbar staggered into the room. A thick stack of cash was in his hand. He placed the money into Ruxana's hands and grabbed Zainab by the wrist. Little Zainab kept screaming, "Mom, please save me! I'm scared!" But Ruxana silently continued counting the money. Zainab's cries echoed throughout the house, but that night she finally understood something. Some people do not deserve to be called mothers. Jabbar dragged her out of the house, while Ruxana stood in the doorway, quietly counting her money. There was not a trace of mercy in her eyes, only a strange sense of satisfaction. As soon as the car disappeared down the street, Ruxana instantly forced tears into her eyes. She knew exactly what role she had to play next. Immediately, she called Zainab's father, Salim, who was driving his truck in another city. The moment he answered, she began sobbing loudly. "Salim, Salim, come home quickly! Zainab has run away from home!" The phone slipped from Salim's hand. "What? Where is my daughter?" Ruxana cried even harder. "I don't know. I treated her like my own daughter. I have no idea why she left the house in the middle of the night." Salim's voice began to shake. "I trusted you with my child, Ruxana. How could you not know where she went?" Ruxana continued crying. "I looked everywhere. I asked the neighbors, but I couldn't find her." Her fake tears silenced him. Meanwhile, Salim began searching for Zainab like a desperate man. Bus stations, roads, hospitals. Every time he saw a little girl in the distance, his heart skipped a beat. "Zainab?" But disappointment was waiting for him every single time. At night, he would hold his daughter's photograph against his chest and cry, "Where is my little girl all alone? Has she eaten anything or not?" Then he remembered how Zainab would often cling to him and say, "Dad, please don't leave me behind." And he would always smile and reply, "You have your mother, don't you?" Now he was realizing whom he had handed his innocent daughter over to. But on the other side, there was not even a trace of sorrow in Ruxana's heart. She sat in her room, smiling in front of the mirror, because her biggest obstacle had finally been removed. She had hated Zainab from the very beginning, because before her death, Zainab's mother had left her precious jewelry with Salim, saying, "This is all for my daughter Zainab." Ruxana was fully aware of that jewelry. Heavy gold sets, diamond rings, and jewelry worth millions. She had been eyeing it for years. But as long as Zainab was alive and present in the house, that jewelry could never belong to Ruxana. That is why she first turned Zainab's life into hell and then permanently removed her from the path. A few days later, she said to Salim in a crying voice, "There is no trace of Zainab anymore. At least let us keep safe her mother's jewelry." Salim was completely broken. He had no awareness of eating or sleeping. Without thinking, he handed over that box to Ruxana. The box which contained the last remaining memory of Zainab's mother. As soon as Ruxana opened the box, her eyes lit up. She kept staring at the jewelry with greedy eyes and slowly smiled. "Finally, everything is mine." Jabbar took Zainab to a deserted area of the city. All along the way, little Zainab kept trembling in fear. Again and again she cried, "I want to go to my father. Please take me back home." But Jabbar kept driving in silence.
After some time, he stopped in front of an old, broken building. All around was darkness, and not a single human being was visible anywhere. Jabbar grabbed Zainab's hand tightly and dragged her inside. There was a small dark room, no window, no light. Jabbar pushed Zainab inside and locked the door from outside. Little Zainab started banging the door desperately. "Let me out! I'm scared! Dad! Dad!" But outside, there was only silence. Was there really anyone outside that room? Or was everything already over? 2 days passed. Zainab was completely exhausted due to hunger, fear, and continuous crying. Even her voice had weakened and faded. She was sitting curled up in one corner of the room, looking up at the sky while sobbing softly. "Oh God, where have I ended up? I want to go back to my father. Why did my mother leave me?" Her tears kept falling continuously. Little Zainab had cried so much that even her voice had started to fade. She sat trembling in the dark corner of the room. Her lips had become dry, and her eyes were fixed constantly on the door. "Oh God, please send me back to my father. I'm really scared." An unexpected sound at the door. Has her prayer been heard? Or is something else about to come? At that very moment, the door creaked open. Jabbar staggered inside. He had a bottle of alcohol in his hand and a terrifying glow in his eyes. Zainab pressed herself against the wall in fear. "Please, don't hurt me." Jabbar slowly started walking toward her with bad intentions. Little Zainab kept trembling, calling out to God again and again. "Oh God, please save me." But Jabbar kept moving closer and closer. Is there any way left for her to escape now? Suddenly, the entire room's light started flickering violently. Tick, tick, tick. The air turned freezing cold in an instant. Jabbar stopped. What? What is this? Suddenly, the door slammed shut on its own. Bang! Jabbar looked around in panic. Then, from the darkest corner of the room, a white light appeared. And within that light, a woman slowly began to take shape. A long white dress, strange glow in her eyes, and anger on her face. Zainab froze in fear, but the next moment the woman spoke softly. "Don't be scared, Zainab. I'm here to save you." Jabbar screamed, "Who are you?" The woman slowly stepped toward him. "I am the voice of those innocent children who are tormented by monsters like you." Jabbar tried to run, but suddenly his feet felt like they were stuck to the ground. Is this reality? Or the beginning of some unseen power? Jabbar screamed in fear, "Leave me!" Suddenly, the sound of children crying echoed from every corner of the room. Jabbar fell to the ground, covering his ears. Where are these voices coming from? Is this real, or has punishment already begun? The woman said angrily, "Today you will pay for every single tear you made an innocent child shed." Suddenly, Jabbar let out a painful scream. It felt like an invisible force was dragging him across the ground. His screams echoed throughout the entire house, and then suddenly, everything went silent. Jabbar lay unconscious on the floor. The woman walked over to Zainab and gently placed her hand on her head. Now, no one will ever hurt you again. The next morning, Zainab found herself standing at the door of her home.
Zainab!
As soon as Salim opened the door, he froze seeing his daughter. Zainab? The next moment, he pulled her into his arms and cried like a child. Forgive me, my daughter. I couldn't protect you. Zainab also burst into loud tears. Reality or a dream? Is it really over? Or is something still left? At that moment, Ruxana's scream was heard from inside the house. She rushed outside, and seeing Zainab alive, her face turned pale. How is this possible? Salim was still holding Zainab tightly. His hands were shaking. He kept looking at his daughter's face again and again and said, "My child, where were you all these days? What did you go through?" Little Zainab trembled in fear. Her eyes slowly shifted toward Ruxana. Ruxana's face turned completely pale. Crying, Zainab said, "Dad, Mom sent me with that man." The moment these words were spoken, Ruxana went insane. She screamed and rushed toward Zainab. "She is lying!" In rage, she raised her hand to hit her. But suddenly, the entire house flashed with electricity. Bang! All the doors slammed shut on their own. A strong wind started blowing. Ruxana froze in fear. Suddenly, the same white light appeared in the center of the room, and within that light, the mysterious woman appeared again. Long white dress, anger on her face, and that strange glow in her eyes. Ruxana stepped back in fear. No, you're back again!" Salim watched everything in shock. The woman said in a cold voice, "Today, the truth will no longer be hidden." Then she looked at Salim. "You kept trusting your wife, while she kept tormenting your innocent daughter." Suddenly, shadow-like scenes began appearing on the walls. Salim saw it. Ruxana beating Zainab, burning her hands with hot tongs, locking her without food. Then the scene of Ruxana taking money from Jabbar, while Zainab screamed, "Mom, please don't send me!" Salim felt the ground disappear beneath his feet. Tears began flowing from his eyes. He turned toward Ruxana in anger. "Did your heart not feel anything? She was just an 8-year-old child, a girl who couldn't even express her pain to anyone, and you took advantage of her helplessness." Ruxana cried and said, I only wanted the jewelry." Hearing this, hatred filled Salim's eyes. "I trusted you, and you sold my daughter." Then he said in rage, "From today, there is no relationship between you and me." Ruxana screamed, "Salim, don't do this!" But Salim turned his face away in disgust. "I divorce you." The moment these words were spoken, Ruxana collapsed to the ground. At that very moment, the mysterious woman slowly stepped towards her. The wind began to grow stronger. Ruxana kept screaming in fear, "Leave me!" But the woman said angrily, "This is the punishment for every tear that an innocent child shed because of you." Suddenly, the jewelry box in the room opened on its own. All the jewelry scattered across the floor, and then, one by one, it started turning black. Ruxana frantically tried to collect it. "No, this is mine!" But suddenly, the floor beneath her feet seemed to slip away. She fell hard and screamed in pain. People say that after that day, Ruxana lost her mental stability. She would constantly scream in fear, That woman will come again. Meanwhile, Salim finally held Zainab in his arms forever. And for the first time, he felt the peace of being a safe father. After that night, Zainab's life slowly began to change. Salim left his trucking job so he would never leave his daughter alone again. He always took care of her, brushed her hair, fed her with his own hands. But fear was still alive inside Zainab's heart. At night, she would suddenly wake up screaming, "Mom, don't hit me!" And sometimes she would cry and cling tightly to her father. Salim would helplessly calm her down. But some wounds are not easily healed by time. One love really heal these wounds, or do some scars remain forever? But there was one thing Zainab slowly began to feel. She was never truly alone. Every time she got scared, it felt like a soft hand gently touched her head. At night, the curtains would slightly move, and a faint white light would spread across the room. Where does this light come from, and who is always near her? Zainab would softly say, "You're here again, aren't you?" And her fear would slowly disappear. One night, Zainab saw the mysterious woman in a dream. She was smiling in a white dress. She gently wiped Zainab's tears and said, "Now you are not alone. Is this woman real, or just a dream that keeps returning every night?" Zainab asked innocently, "What is your name?" The woman smiled slightly. "My name is Nora." From that day onward, Zainab started calling her Aunt Nora. Whenever Zainab felt pain, she could feel Nora's presence around her. Is this really a human being, or just a feeling created by Zainab's heart? One night, Zainab developed a high fever. Salim had gone out to get medicine. Zainab was trembling in unconsciousness. Then she felt as if someone placed a cold hand on her forehead. She slowly opened her eyes. A faint white light stood in the corner of the room. Nora was silently watching her. Zainab smiled weakly and said, "You won't ever leave me, will you?" Tears appeared in Nora's eyes. She gently said, "As long as you need me, my shadow will always stay with you." Is this protection, or the beginning of an unseen bond? And that night, for the first time, Zainab slept peacefully. After that night, Zainab no longer felt the same emptiness of her mother's absence. Because whenever she felt sad, a soft white light would fill the room. Whenever she felt fear, Nora's presence could be felt around her. Time passed. Zainab grew up. Now there was no fear in her eyes like before. She had learned to smile again. Salim thanked God every day that he had his daughter back. And sometimes, in the silence of the night, even he felt as if an unseen presence was quietly protecting their home. Is it truly just imagination, or is something actually present in the house? One day, Zainab looked at the sky and softly said, "Aunt Nora, if you weren't there, maybe I would never have survived." At that moment, a cold breeze came through the window, and a peaceful smile spread across Zainab's face, as if Nora had silently answered her. And then, for the first time in her life, Zainab felt that every child who suffers oppression is never truly alone. Because somewhere, God sends a Nora to protect them. The end.